Hello, my friend. This is my take, so don't hate. I'm here today to sound a warning, and I want to sound it as loudly and as clearly as I possibly can. There's a killer on the loose. No, it's not the typical serial killer that roams the neighborhoods of our cities looking for unsuspecting prey. It's worse than that. This killer has killed more people than all serial killers combined throughout our history. And it is still on the loose and still killing. Now, if I frighten you and captured your attention, I make no apologies at all. And if I were you, I would keep watching and keep listening. I won't go so far as to say that I'm always full of laughter, but I do like to laugh, and I like to enjoy myself in whatever I do. But listen, this is no laughing matter, and there's certainly nothing funny about it. There's a killer on the loose, and we're all in danger, and we're even more in danger from those who don't see the danger. What is it going to take for us to take this killer seriously? What is it about this whole thing that we don't understand? How many people have to die? How many lies and conspiracies will it take for us to open our eyes and recognize that we are in a pandemic? The suffering and death of COVID-19 are real. You don't die this week and then they bring you back for next week's episode. Dead is dead and gone is gone. It's inconceivable to me to think that rather than taking this killer seriously, certain persons and certain groups of people are using this as an opportunity to make political statements by disregarding the rules of war, and thereby exposing themselves to danger and death and potentially taking the innocent and the unsuspecting with them. A serial killer is one who kills repeatedly, often for no apparent reason other than opportunity to carry out some demented agenda or fulfill some twisted fantasy. In some cases, a person is hunted and stalked, but in many cases, a person is killed simply because they were there, wherever they may have been at the time. They were there to be killed. They just happened to be there. When it is determined that a serial killer is on the loose, the authorities go to great lengths to advise the public and to warn us to take all safety measures and all precautions. Listen, they say take all precautions available to us to protect ourselves. Almost always, we're told to stay in our homes, board up the doors and windows, open the door to no one. And in some instances, we are told to arm ourselves. And if we dare venture out, we're told to travel only in groups and always be aware of our surroundings. We are asked to be watchful and to immediately report any suspicious activity or suspicious person or persons. Everyone is placed on high alert in every potential place where the killer might strike. Is placed under surveillance and watched very carefully. Everyone is fearful and watchful. Everyone is sensitive to the slightest sound or the slightest movement. And often there's a curfew that everyone is too glad to adhere to. In many cases, schools are shut down. The entire town is often placed on lockdown. All leaves and passes for public safety personnel are canceled. And life is anything but normal. It's all hands on deck at the hospital. The doctors and nurses and medical staff placed on standby. Before you can solve the case of one victim, there's another and another and another. What happens when the killer is still on the loose and people try to go back to a normal life? Maybe you heard that the killer struck in another town. Maybe it was another family. And because it wasn't your family this time, It wasn't your neighborhood this time. Perhaps you felt you could go back to things being as they always were, even though they will never be what they once were. While you're in hot pursuit of normal, don't let normal get you into trouble. Don't let normal lead you into an ambush. Treat normal like a bad relationship. If it's leaving, let it go and don't try to hold on. Bid it farewell so that you can live to fight another day. Adjust, adapt, and overcome. Stop trying to hold on to what doesn't exist anymore. Normal is gone. And please remember that when all that we now have going for us, the testing, the mask, the hand washing, the social distancing, the treatment, the vaccine, we are safer, but we are not safe. We are still in danger. And for those who have never had the virus, for those who have had the virus and recovered, you should be shouting and praising God every day, because it could have gone another way. The winds of COVID-19 are rapidly changing. Do you realize how blessed you really are? You are living, but yet you could have been dead. And I believe the key to making this thing a part of the past is not so much in having a vaccine. For sure, that is a huge step in the right direction. The scientists, the researchers, and the doctors are saying it will help. But I'm not sure we're at a point where we can call this a miracle drug. And I don't feel like I'm in a position to advise anyone on whether to take the vaccine or not take the vaccine. I believe that's a personal decision. I would say to you, however, seek the counsel of God. Discuss these kinds of decisions with your family and talk about what you think is best for you and your family. Do your research. You know, I hear people talking about they don't know what's in it. They don't know what it will do to you. Let me ask you something, my friend. Do you know what's in all that other stuff that you're taking, that you're eating, or that you're drinking, dipping, sniffing, or ingesting? Do you know what's in it? Do you know what it'll do to you? You know, I understand personally, I wouldn't run around and do anything on the word of a politician. But I would say to you to pray about it. Talk to the Lord about it. Talk to your family. Talk to your primary care physician. I believe there's hope in this vaccine. And I think it could be good. And I thank God for it. And I hope to God that it works and helps us through this. But I believe the most important thing is for each of us to take personal responsibility for slowing and stopping the spread of this virus. There's no substitute for you and me being responsible and exercising discipline and restraint. There's a killer on the loose. There's a killer on the loose, and we must remain on high alert and take every precaution to protect our families and ourselves. It is our attitude, our approach to this virus that will make all the difference in the world. It will take responsible behavior on each of our part to turn this thing around. The winds of this virus shift so quickly, and when or where or how or whom it will strike cannot be predicted. We don't know how severe a case might be. We don't know who is likely to survive and who isn't. I know the doctors talk about that, but we don't know. Sometimes discussion and debate can be healthy, but we can debate until the cows come home. Go to school, not go to school. Go to church, not go to church. Go to work, not go to work. Listen, attend the game, not attend the game. Wear a mask. No, don't wear a mask. Take the vaccine. No, don't take the vaccine. Let me tell you something, my friend. If we don't wake up and stop debating about places and things and start addressing our personal attitudes, start addressing our personal behavior, we're really going to be up the creek without a paddle. And I know you have questions. I have questions. And I'm ready for a change. But my concern is not for when can we do Thanksgiving dinner again. My concern is not for when our children can come home for Christmas again. Let me tell you something, my friend. My concern is not for when can we go on vacation again or go to the game or do a community barbecue. That's not my way of thinking. I'm not concerned about that. And some may be asking the question, how long do we have to live with this? But I can endure as long as we indeed live through it. I'm not worried about picnics, cookouts, vacations, shopping, or ball games. I'm not really concerned about getting back to our perception of what normal is. My concern is for the thousands upon thousands or hundreds of thousands of people who are sick and suffering. My concern is for the families of the thousands upon thousands of victims who have died or already on their deathbed. I'm ready for this killer to be caught and brought to justice. But just as in the world of crime, it will never happen unless and until we come together as a community of people who love and care for one another. Now that's my take. So what do you have to say? Sound off.